Let's make history. So part of the city of Baton Rouge is planning to secede. It has been approved for them to secede from the city, forming their own separate city, the city of St. George. This is similar to the Greater Idaho movement, where people in the more rural part of Oregon share ideologies with Idaho. When you live in a state where you have major cities, most of the legislation are going to cater to the people in the big cities because of the density of the population. So that's the case in Oregon, on the western side of Oregon, with Portland, Oregon, Salem. So the rest of the state, specifically on the eastern end, they suffer because of that. And it turns out that Idaho, which is right on the eastern border of Oregon, that whole state has the same mindset, ideology, philosophy, way of life, that rural, quote-unquote outdoorsman sort of independent way of life that they do in those counties in eastern Oregon. So those counties got together and have been for years now making an effort to secede and become part of Idaho. And I mean, isn't that the point of representation in our political system? I'm thinking we're gonna see much more of this. Other people are saying the same. Maybe this is even a possible solution. The United States, as of right now, seems as if, not even seems, but is splintering. Many people are like grouping up into different factions. People are being very passionate about how they feel. You have these mass protests. You had George Floyd a few years back on an election year, coincidentally, or maybe not so much. Now you have the pro-Palestinian mass protests across the world, actually, in an election year, coincidentally, or maybe not so much. You be the judge.
Have you ever been to St. George, Louisiana? Well, I bet the answer is no, because it's about to become a brand new city. Just days ago, after nearly a decade-long battle, the state Supreme Court ruled 4-3 in favor of nearly 86,000 Baton Rouge residents who said they're sick of dealing with bad schools, high crime, and high taxes. Well, the rest of Baton Rouge isn't happy.
I am disappointed in the Louisiana Supreme Court's ruling. When potential tax increases or threats to basic services that affect our citizens' quality of life are at stake, it's crucial that we proceed with careful consideration.
Our portion of East Baton Rouge Parish has never actually been a city. We've been unincorporated forever. In fact, Baton Rouge had opportunities to annex St. George, our area, and never did. So eventually we got tired of high crime, poor education. We have a school system that's ranked near dead last in a state that's ranked near dead last in education. We have one of the highest homicide rates in America, and people are leaving our parish in droves to move to other outlying parishes that are thriving. So why wouldn't we want to do something different?
Andrew, sounds like they're charging racism here.
Well, a couple of things. One, the census says otherwise. Our area of East Baton Rouge Parish has the fastest growing minority population in the parish. So to me, it's a narrative that's thrown out there because it's easy. People that don't want to do their homework can buy into it.
The interesting thing is that there are many people arguing that by having this wealthy suburb break off, which is predominantly white, 70%, it is going to harm and leave behind black families. I am shocked that they would argue that make that racist argument. Black families in Baton Rouge don't need the white people to be there in order to succeed. I don't know why they would make that argument. But of course, they're claiming it's racist now that the people who live in this community voted for their own cities.
It's not racist, it's rational. And there's a movement, I don't know about Louisiana, but in Texas, there's a movement to create new free cities that split off from places like Austin. And it's simply about taxes, it's about regulations, it's about zoning, it's about schools, it's about all the things that normal people care about. maybe not good enough
Yeah.
if you're paying the taxes. So why wouldn't you vote with your feet? And why wouldn't you start a community that is actually going to care about basics? Like, I want my trash picked up. I would love for my kids not to be transitioned in middle school. And I would love not to get shot.
There was a similar effort in Atlanta to create, I think it's called Buckhead. And as far as I know, it's been voted on a couple times. It's never gone through. I think that's an oversimplification to scare people against the concept, right? If you're living in an area and you guys are doing pretty well, regardless of race, and you think, hey, this city is being mismanaged, I don't want to sell my house. My house is in the good part. Why don't we split off? That makes sense for me. I think that it's sort of arrogant of cities that are being poorly managed to say, well, like, you guys have to go down with our ship. You're not allowed to leave. Otherwise, we'll label you racist.
It's not race, it's governance. It's failure of governance. It's a failure to do the basic things that you expect a city government to do. But as cities start to destroy their tax base, they start to expand their boundaries and encroach into suburbs that weren't part of their tax base.
You've got state of Jefferson, Greater Idaho.
Yeah.
You've got a county in Colorado trying to secede from the state. This is actually happening all over the country.
Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to Will Flores TV on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and X.